I'm here with John, who owns Deep South Focus, a real estate media company. He's owned the business since 2012, built an incredible business. So we're doing an in-person case study. Thanks for doing this, first of all, John.
Yeah,
So
my pleasure.
let's start at the beginning. How'd you get started? And I know you had a photography background a little bit.
Yeah, so 2012 I started my automotive photography business, and it was more of a side hustle. But over time that grew so much that work was getting in the way. So in 2019 I quit my job and went full time with photography.
And that was automotive in 2019?
That was automotive photography, yes.
Gotcha. So from 2012 to 2019 you did automotive.
Yes.
And I think the people that know John and know his van will think it's the coolest thing ever. He has like a, I mean, talk about the van. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's a Sprinter van, and it's our mobile print studio. We have 3 large format printers in there, and at the car shows, we photograph the cars as they enter the venue. The owners come look at the photos on the monitors. If they like it, we print and frame it right there on site.
So they deliver the product like on site. So anyway, I guess to the real estate media side. So you did that until 2019. When did you start? How did you start real estate media, or what happened?
So in 2019, since I quit my job in April of 2019, I was doing great all summer. But in the fall, we had a weather-dependent issue with car shows. We had a hurricane and a tropical storm 2 weeks in a row that just devastated our income.
Yeah.
And I was only working Saturdays. I mean, how cool is that? But I needed to do something else. And I'd actually thought about real estate photography before and thought, I'll never do that. There's no money in it.
Yep.
And lo and behold, after those hurricanes, I saw your ad for your online course. So it was a Black Friday ad, and I signed up for your course, and the rest is history.
And so when you said there was no money, was that because you saw how much a single shoot was, or like what contributed to that?
I saw how much a single shoot was versus what I was doing in automotive photography or other potential opportunities like portraiture. So.
Yeah, a lot of people say they come from weddings or other stuff. So talk about that a little bit. You see the high invoices, the car show stuff. You can make a lot in one weekend. Real estate's like small but volume. So I guess did you just try it and figured it out, or like?
Yeah, so I was in a B&I group, and there's a realtor that said, hey, can you shoot a listing for me? And I did a listing for him, and then he had one the next week and the next week, and it just snowballed from there.
Yeah.
And so even though it was a little bit of money per shoot, it's consistent, and I didn't have to go look for those new customers every single time.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that kind of protects the industry a little bit from other photographers. Like you get wedding photographers that just won't even touch it because they're going to make $4,000 in a weekend or whatever, and then they see real estate for 400 or 300 and they won't do it. Okay, so you got into it in 2019. What did you do you joined our course at the time.
Yes.
What did you do to get clients that?
So B&I, lots of referrals from that, and then just having fantastic customer service. Those agents were just referring me naturally, organically.
So when you're saying fantastic customer service, what does that mean with you? Like for someone who's just starting, what would you tell them when it comes to customer service? Like what are the specific things?
Yeah, just take care of the agent. You get there, they can't control everything that's going on, and you get to the appointment and the home isn't ready. So you go in and help tidy things up with them. A lot of my competitors, they will actually shoot the house as is.
Yeah.
They don't open blinds, they don't touch anything. And that's
I love it when they do that.
That's not good customer service.
No. So. It's good for us though, because then we get the clients from them. Okay, so you got a bunch of referrals. I guess let's jump to the business now, and then we'll like dive into some specifics for people that are just starting or at a smaller level. So what does your team look like right now?
So right now there's 5 of us. In 2021 I hired my first employee, and that was in April and June I hired 2 more. And shortly after that, I got a contract with the largest brokerage in town, and we just kept growing from there and needing to expand the team.
Yeah. So it's pretty fast growth, and that was mostly referrals.
Mostly referrals.
Yeah. That's something we talk about, like the 3 R's: it's repeat business, required, and referral growth. Like the referral growth is probably, if the industry didn't have referrals, I think it would be much tougher and not as good of an opportunity. But like because the referrals, you just treat your customers well. We talk about it all the time, and then they refer you. So. What do you expect revenue-wise your business to do this year in terms of like biggest month or something?
So last year, the last 12 months, we did about 540,000.
Okay, so 540K, and that takes into account slow seasons. So you have some bigger months and smaller months, about 500,000. And so that's in like, what is it, 4 or 5 years to get there? That's pretty.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And that's cool that it's I mean, obviously you probably did some networking with people you talked, but that's kind of referral in essence. It's like most of that growth is from referrals, which I think. I like to talk about that because, at least for me, I hated the idea of having to do a lot of sales. And so people just starting, they're like, oh, gross, I'm gonna have to reach out to a ton of people, which you do.
Yeah.
That'll help you grow faster. But once you get that snowball rolling, there's big element to referral. Okay, so you're at 500K, year now. Hopefully more as the years go on. We get to work together, you in a coaching format at REPP. So that means you have a lot of time, and your business kind of runs by itself. What did you have to do to get it to that point where it doesn't need you as much?
So just hiring the right staff that were going to take care of your customers. Basically, we take really good care of our staff, and they're super loyal and committed to the company.
Yeah, and I know this, so I can't ask it without knowing the answer, but like, you do something cool with the company cars. Share that a little bit.
Yeah, so first off, we pay our photographers for the entire day. If they're available to be booked, they get paid the entire day. It's my job to get them the bookings.
Yeah.
Then our service area is very vast and large, and they're driving so much, I decided to start buying company cars. And so instead of giving them auto allowance, they have company cars now.
Yep, and they have cool company cars
yeah,
too.
BMW X1s.
Yeah, listen, that's like a pretty sweet job. So I think that probably, obviously you did the numbers and it made sense financially too, but I also think that shows something that I know about you, which is you want to take care of your team. So for someone that's trying to grow a team, like how much do you think that's impacted your business's growth, and what does that look like when you try to take care of your team? Like, what does that mean?
Oh, it's huge. The agents see it when the employees are happy and satisfied. The agents can really tell that it's not just an employee. It's, even though they're my employees, it's like they own the company. They have full reign to make decisions on their own. I fully empower them to make any decisions needed.
Yeah, and they're happy too, which I think is, that's like not a cheat code. It's a lot of work, and you have to build a company the right way. But that's like, if you can have a team that enjoys it, it's so much easier to grow. So let's go. So we kind of like jumped around from starting to growth. For someone who's just starting, so we'll talk about that, and then we'll jump into someone who's trying to build a team for the first time. So for someone who's just starting their business, it's like a day one thing, or they're watching this and they want to start their business. Any specific advice that comes to mind to them at that stage?
So the big thing is just getting your name out there and going after the clientele. And the coaching program has the Instagram method to help you get going with that and really get your name out there.
Yeah. The get your name out there thing is huge, because I think a lot of people, because you have fear when you're first starting, they try to like over prepare. They do a ton of practice shoots and they do a ton of stuff just getting started. And then for someone so they're growing, 10, 15, 20K a month, they're solo, they're starting to bring in some team. Any advice for what to look for in their first photographer hire?
For me, you're not necessarily looking for someone with any photography experience. I want someone with good customer service experience. So, I eat out a lot, so I pay attention to the servers that are serving me at my favorite restaurants. Chick-fil-A is one of my favorite places, and there's the same guy always waiting on me, always asking me about my photo business. And I told him, I said, because I thought he had great service, I said, if you ever want to get something different in a career, let me know. I'd love to talk to you. Things of that nature.
Interesting.
You can teach photography. You can teach someone to be a brain surgeon.
Yep.
It's hard to teach kindness and customer service. That's very difficult to teach.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We, part of our model, and that's where we like definitely agree on this. If you always want to hire like the least skilled efficiency, and so if you think of interpersonal skills as a skill, which they are, it's like you can develop that, but that could take, some people will never do it, and for others it takes a long time. So if you're someone that grew up in an environment that was what you did, and then you worked in a business that reinforced it, that's so hard to train. So you really do have to find it. I think a lot of people mess up because they think it's going to be harder to train the photography.
Yeah.
So they hire the photographer, and then they get everything that comes with that. So you prefer to not hire photographers?
That's my preference, yes.
Yeah, okay. And then, so you hire that first one. What do you think maybe mistakes you made, or that you see people make as a coach when they hire the first one? Is it, it could be in the hiring process or after. What comes to mind?
Getting too excited about the first one. If you've never hired before, they may look perfect, but their resumes are polished and look great, but they're not perfect, and you have to learn to let them go quick too, if you need to.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. I think I made it repeatedly, is you can't always know for sure when you hire somebody, but once they start working there pretty quickly, and then the tendency is to want to like keep people in the position longer. Yeah. So what do you think having run a business in a format that doesn't require a lot of your time, obviously part of it is having a great team in place. But for someone that's really involved in the business daily and trying to get out of that, what steps would you recommend they take next?
So just empower your team and to take control of the business for you, pay them well, keep them happy, and just slowly step away.
Yeah. What do you think, in terms of mistakes within your business, what are the things that you would have done differently, or what's something that comes to mind?
I think I probably would have done more outreach. To be honest, I haven't done any outreach. We've never done your Instagram method.
Because you just got the referrals.
Yeah. If I did that, the business would have grown much quicker, I think.
Okay, so the first little bit, which is...
And I think even now, if I did it, it'd grow exponentially.
I think for a lot of people too, that if they don't grow quickly at the start, they don't grow at all because they have a job and it's like they only put so much time into it before they see a lot of results. So I think the quick growth, you were already in photography, and so you probably had a pretty strong confidence that it was going to work out. What do you think, as kind of a final question for everybody that's a photographer watching this that wants to maybe pivot into real estate, what messed you up about your automotive photography, and what could mess up someone about weddings when they come to real estate, I guess?
It still messes us up, is just being too picky and too detail oriented. It's just real estate. You don't need to be as detail oriented. Spending too much time over analyzing the shot and what photos you're editing and how you're editing. Just don't do that.
It's funny because even people that don't start as photographers, 6 months in, when they become a photographer, they start to like slip into that as well, and they're like, oh, they scrutinize everything. I'm like, 6 months ago, you didn't even know what you were doing, and your business grew super fast. Now that you know what you're doing, you're slowing things down, So anyway, thanks for your time, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me.